Hello and welcome to Business Today TV. I am Chetan Bhutani. Today we are rolling live from the 63rd SIAM Annual Convention, and today I am joined by Mr. Santosh Iyer. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. A great morning for all of us at the SIAM Convention. I'd like to start by asking you a rejoinder that the minister has issued. If that proposal goes through, for example, do you think the diesel industry would be discouraged further and the prices would eventually be passed on? What is your impact on this, sir?
Yeah, firstly, I would like to also look this as a directional statement by the Honorable Minister, because I think his direction was clear. Shift to sustainable fuels like ethanol blended fuels, petrol, or shift to EVs. And for that, one of the proposal he said is, I will tax the diesels more. And I think in our view, taxation is not the only solution as such. But even if that happens, even today, let's remember that diesels are 10 to 15% expensive in our portfolio. And still customers buy diesel because of high torque, and there are reasons of buying diesel cars. So tomorrow with this additional 10% odd that he indicated, I'm not sure if the demand will fully go away, but maybe there will be an impact on demand. But overall, the pie won't change. So our view is that maybe the customers may shift to petrol or they may shift to electric, because now they will see maybe a much more focus on electrification, and therefore an electric offers similar torque or even better torque than a diesel car. So maybe there is also something there that consumers may shift to electrification faster. But it has to be seen. For us, fortunately, in our portfolio, we make 14 cars in Chakan, A class to the S class. All the cars have petrol and diesel options. Our diesels are also clean, Euro 7 certified. Our petrols also are ethanol ready, and that's a big thing, because our cars are compatible for an E20 fuel. So as and when the ethanol blended fuels are available, Mercedes-Benz petrol cars can also be there. So we will have to observe it. If something like this comes up, we will have to, for sure, based on the demand, change our production mix. But I would still read this as a directional statement that the government is fully committed for a faster transition to carbon neutrality, faster transition to more sustainable fuels, which is great. Whether taxation is the right step, that's debatable.
Sure, sir. Also, in the premium luxury car segment that you are catering to, and one of the leaders in the segment, sir, do you think that with a 10% hike in taxes, or probably what the direction the government has committed to, do you think the consumers of Mercedes-Benz would eventually be discouraged, because it's a premium luxury segment? So, do you think there will be an impact on demand?
No, sure. Customers in our segment are also very knowledgeable customers. So they buy value end of the day. So something which is not reasonably priced, well, definitely they may see a lesser value. But some of them are enthusiasts to the core. As I said, even today, between a petrol and a diesel is 10 to 15% expensive. But there is still a large number of customers. More so when it comes to SUVs, they prefer a diesel engine. In our SUV, 70% of our customers may prefer a diesel engine. Whereas in sedans, it's the other way around. They prefer a gasoline. So I think it's about value. And if this 10% or 15% gap becomes 25%, there would be surely a segment of customers who don't find value in diesels. As I said, if they like the torque, they may actually shift to an electric if there is an option available, or maybe then settle in for a petrol also. So surely any change in pricing, we cannot take the customers for granted.
Sure. Also, sir, India is currently now witnessing one of the longest festive period seasons now, one with Onam starting and eventually Diwali and other festivals, sir. What is your outlook? Because we are currently in the middle of a festive season, sir. How are you anticipating the sales now? Because we recently had a great launch by Mercedes, further having the EQ SUV also coming up. So, how are you anticipating the growth, sir?
So there are two differences when you look at festive period. One, this year has 3-4 months spread out. So it's not like everything happening in an October or happening in a September, in a depreciation month. So there is September, there is October, and there is November. So I think it will be a spread out festive period. But that's seasonality. Second, pre-COVID, you had a lot of customers flocking to showrooms, and we used to have huge deliveries. Today, some 50% of our portfolio or even more is under a waiting period of 3 to 4 months. So these customers have booked the car, and now they will just get deliveries during the festive period, like the new GLC. On the other side, we also have ramped up our production. So we have a lot of sedans like the S class, the E class, A class. These cars we have been getting ready for the festive period, and therefore Our assumption is that double-digit growth should continue. We still see a very strong order intake, and with this, we should again post a best-ever year for Mercedes-Benz.
Sure, sir. Also, I would like to ask you on the G20 deliberations, sir. The mega economic corridor was announced. Mercedes-Benz has been a huge player in India. Do you think, and of course, you have one of the biggest global presence as well. Do you think companies like Mercedes-Benz stand to benefit from the mega economic corridor?
Yeah, I think from G20 for us the bigger takeout is a commitment on sustainability and environment. You know, very clearly, not only the biofuel is more on the ethanol blending and maybe there, but I think there was a clear message that carbon neutrality, even India is participating. We have a 2070 target, but overall a lot of discussion on carbon neutrality and how to achieve what kind of credits and how to work in. And as a brand, we are committed that by 2039 we should be the first automotive brand in the world to be 100% carbon neutral in the full ecosystem. So I think that was positive. Coming back to the economic corridor, I think that's a great step. We have to see the mechanics of it, the implementation of it. Also, can it reduce logistic cost? Today, the Honorable Minister again mentioned that he is very focused on reducing logistic costs in India. And I think if we realize those potential, for sure, it makes a much better business for us in India as well.
And the G20 Alliance also spoke about the biofuel alliance. I know Mercedes-Benz has been working on developing sustainable technologies as well. You have, in fact, your global support team has also been into it. With the AI also, the computers, the car's own operating system is also, in fact, coming into picture. I'd like to ask you on the biofuel, sir. What future are you seeing for Mercedes-Benz in India for the biofuels?
No, I think we have to be pragmatic here because our view is, first of all, we are shifting from combustion engine to electric worldwide. So we see that as a full transition. And in combustion engines, biofuels are an alternate. As I said, ethanol blending up to 20%, I think we welcome because our cars are also compatible. We have engineered these cars. Even today, the availability of ethanol blended fuels is limited. It's around 10%. Whereas we would see that it may go up to 20% with the push from the government and the availability. So I think so far so good. But as and when if you now talk about higher blending, that has different implications when it comes to car performance. Where we won't like to go that direction because something at some point, if the performance, our customers are also very, I would say, sensitive on the performance of the car, and we would not like to have any compromise there. Then our alternative is electric. Then after that, so we welcome the initiatives. I think when we are a luxury brand catering to a different audience, and therefore we feel that I think when you look at the total perspective, I think that directionally the government is trying to push in the mass market a different approach. We don't see any risk, but as I said earlier, this may only push electrification more, which is also welcome.
Sure. Now we are all eyes are on the EQE SUV. By when can we expect, and how do you think the demand will be catering to?
Well, we are launching this car on 15th of this month. We have not started any pre-bookings, etc. for this car because we wanted to first showcase the car. And this is again a difference between an electric car and a combustion engine. In combustion engine, in GLC, we just said we are starting and we had 1500 cars booked. In electric, consumers want to drive the car. They want to really check the range. They want to be sure about what they are getting into. So it takes time. So we don't want to give any predictions about what kind of a demand. But today, 4% of our portfolio is electric. We just have the EQS and the EQB. We expect the EQE to add to this. Mind you, but this will not be a car, at below 1 crore. It will be in the region of 1.5 crores. So it's a car in the top end of the segment. So more than the volume, we are looking at, many of our GLE and GLS customers shifting from combustion engines to electric. And that's something we are closely observing and trying to see how the transition happens, how consumers switch now from one technology to a different era altogether. And this car, again, we had a lot of thinking. Should we bring it with not all the features, but we are bringing this car with every content possible in the top end of the luxury spectrum.
Sure. And last question, Santosh sir, is that we have been talks about the operating system you mentioned earlier as well. In fact, that your global spokespersons have also spoken at the recent concluded events. Where has the story reached, sir, and when can we expect that to India?
See, there are two things when I look into technology. One is the autonomous side, and I can be proud to say that we are the only automotive brand in the world to have a level 3 autonomous car certified in the US. So there's a lot of work happening on autonomous. With the EQE, you will again hear some announcements, even applicability in India when it comes to ADAS and autonomous cars. But coming to the question on operating system, As a luxury brand, we feel the differentiation won't just lie on 0 to 100 range. Range, of course, we continue to lead the range parameter, but that cannot be a differentiator. And you need an experience for the customer in the car. And this differentiated experience will come from our own operating system that we have. We call it the MBOS. I am proud to say that a lot of development of MBOS is happening out of Bangalore. In our R&D setup, a lot of our colleagues are working on this topic. So India is contributing to the world when it comes to this development to a large extent. But coming back, this should be the real experience game changer also in the future when electrification comes. Cars are more, I won't call it commoditized, but cars are getting similar with battery, with technology. The operating system should be a difference. And here with the new E-Class, with some of the new models that we launch next year, we should already start introducing some of the latest technologies.
But Mercedes cars are already known to be very smart cars, way ahead of its time always. With this operating system, how smart, more further smart the vehicle would be? Can you give us an example that so the viewers could have a better idea on that?
So, we are doing a lot of work. First of all, to make the car smarter and better. It's our commitment, right? We invented the car, we continue to invent it, and we'll invent it again. And that's our clear philosophy. And for that, there is a lot happening. So first, you need computing power in the car. So here we have tied up with NVIDIA, the global leader in chips, and they are supporting us when it comes to the computing power in the car. Operating system we are developing on our own. Recently, we just deployed the ChatGPT integration in US to see the real use cases, because you can put as many technology, but it has to increase customer experience. So we are closely observing in the US how consumers are interacting with ChatGPT in their car, using the computing power in the car to make it. So all this will go into the further development. I was fortunate. I was in Munich in the IAA 2 weeks back, and I was fortunate to see a sneak peek of the MBOS, and I can only say it blown me away. Right now, details are confidential. I cannot give you specific features, but I think we are in the cutting edge of really coming up with newer technologies and something. But the core is it should add to customer experience. There is no fun in adding content in the car without changing the experience of the customer. And and also one of the bigger thing is also the OTA updates. Today you buy a car, maybe it's not relevant after 5 years. Tomorrow's car, all the new features that we introduce will be available even in cars that you buy, subsequently having similar operating systems. So your car is like an Apple iPhone. The operating system changes, you get new features, new functionalities, and that will be there for our customers in the future.
Well, Santosh sir, thank you so much for joining us. Clear message from the MD that there's no fun adding content to the car. It's always about enriching the consumer's experience. Thank you so much for watching.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.